Starting it up.
Señorita puta. Señor.
Double checking to make sure we are on.
I'll double check.
And we are live. Hello and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred today in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things that we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information come from the smart device application Today in History. What happened today in history?
Historical calendar.
And the website onthisday.com. For links to the sources, the music, anything else we gather throughout the show, check the underbar below. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust my camera live here. I was kind of askew there. Anyway, I am Aoxander.
I am Lunk.
And you are you. Today is Wednesday, aka Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022. Starting it off in the year 537, during the siege of Rome, the Ostrogoth army under King Viticus began the siege of the capital. Belisarius conducted a delaying action outside the Flaminian Gate. He and a detachment of his Belicarii were almost cut off. Dang. This is when Rome was falling.
Oh, shit.
Moving on up to the year 986.
In 986, Louis V becomes the last Carolingian king of the West Francia after the death of his father, Lothair.
The last Carolingian. What is a Carolingian? Let me look that up real quick. Boop. Oh, the Carolingian dynasty was a Frankish noble family named after Charlemagne, grandson of Mayor Charles Martel, and descendant of the Arnulfung and Fifelet clans of the 7th century A.D. Interesting. So he was the last one of those. Jumping on up to the year 1444, Skanderberg organized a group of Albanian nobles to form the League of Leshe. Hey, welcome to I see you on the screen. Welcome, Mr. Fro.
Yeah. So in 1458, George of O'Brady is chosen as the king of Bohemia.
Nice. Jumping on up to 1476, during the Burgundian Wars, the Old Swiss Confederacy handed Charles the Bold, Duke of Burgundy, a major defeat in the Battle of Grandson in canton of Neuchâtel. Interesting.
Oh, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Also, 1484, the College of Arms is formally incorporated by World Charter signed by King Richard III of England.
The College of Arms? How many arms does it have? Is it like, is one of their teachers Doc Ock?
Or Goro?
Goro's the guy from Mortal Kombat, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Jumping up to 1498, Vasco da Gama's fleet visited the island of Mozambique.
Mozambique here.
Mozambique.
That's an Apex reference. Mozambique's a short barrel shotgun that has 4 shots.
That sounds brutal. I want one.
It is. Also, in 1657, the Great Fire of Maireki begins in Edo, now Tokyo, Japan, causing more than 100,000 deaths before it exhausts itself 3 days later.
Wow! 100,000 dead? Good lord.
Even the fires of Japan perform seppuku.
You know, like, I don't know why people live next to volcanoes. Like, it's still there. Like, you know, they didn't leave the area where 100,000 people died. They just built again. What the hell? Like, what is wrong with humanity? Why do we keep building shit in areas that get destroyed by nature? Move! Jumping up.
You can never escape a natural disaster no matter what you do.
That is true, but in certain areas like, what's that city in Louisiana? Uh,
Which one?
the one that keeps getting destroyed by hurricanes.
New Orleans.
Yeah, that one. Move! Like, there's no reason why New Orleans needs to exist.
What do you expect? It's pretty much a fucking bowl.
It is. Like, it's literally under the sea level. You know, and that's the problem with Florida too. A lot of Florida is under the sea level. Like, you know, all it takes is, you know, something to break and then the ocean to come in and all gone. You know, like, ridiculous. Anyway, jumping on up to the year 1776, during the American Revolution, Patriot militia units attempted to prevent capture of supply ships in and around the Savannah River by a small fleet of the Royal Navy in the Battle of the Rice Boats. Supplies.
Okay. Also, 1791, Claude Chappie demonstrates the first semaphore near Paris. Oh, semaphore line near Paris.
What is a semaphore? Let me check that out. Semaphore. In computer science, a semaphore is a variable or abstract data type used to control access to a common resource by multiple... You know what? That's programming. Hold on a second. Semaphore line. Okay. Optical telegraph. Okay. I'm gonna put this into the underbar. And as I'm doing that, well, before I do that, I'm going to take us up to the year 1797. The Bank of England issued the first £1 and £2 banknotes. Huh. So the loonie and the toonie. So I have a $1 banknote in the U.S. and I used to collect $2 bills, and then our house got broken into and they took all of them, and now I'm mad. So. Why don't you take us up 10 years later, Mr. Lung?
Yeah. 10 years later, in 1807, the U.S. Congress passed the prohibited importation of slaves, disallowing the importation of new slaves into the country.
Good. Good. Why didn't BLM talk about this, huh? Why didn't all the leftists talk about this? You know?
Because someone said they can't.
Yep. Stupid political people have no idea what history is. Jumping on up to 1811, during the Argentine War of Independence, a royalist fleet defeated a small flotilla of revolutionary ships in the Battle of San Nicolas on the River Plate.
Right. Also, 1815, signing of the Candian Convention Treaty by British invaders and the leaders of the Kingdom of Kandy.
Let me look this up.
Sounds...
The Candian Convention was a treaty signed on the 2nd of March 1815 between, we already covered that, let's see here, ceding of the kingdom's territory to the British Crown. Okay, so it's basically a document saying we own you. So, jumping up about 21 years in 1836, during the Texas Revolution, the Declaration of Independence of the Republic of Texas from Mexico was adopted. Nice.
Also, 1855, Alexander II becomes Tsar of Russia. Why you never told me you were Tsar of Russia?
Well, you know, like, I can't tell you everything, you know, like, I mean, maybe I'm behind the whole Ukraine plot, you know. Everybody thinks Putin's in charge, but he's just a puppet. My puppet. Jumping on up to 1859, the two-day Great Slave Auction, the largest such auction in United States history, began. Ugh. Why did you put that in there? That's awful. I don't want to talk about slavery.
Also, 1865, East Cape War, the Volkner incident in New Zealand.
Let's see here. Volkner incident. Let's look that up here. Volkner incident describes the murder of the German-born Protestant missionary Carl Sylvius Volkner in New Zealand in 1865 as the consequent miscarriage of justice by the government of New Zealand during the New Zealand Wars. Oh, that's not good. So they killed somebody unintentionally. Or intentionally, but, like, wrongfully. That's just rude. I'm adding this to the underbar. Jumping on up to 1867, the U.S. Congress passed the first Reconstruction Act. And let's see here, Reconstruction Act. Hold on. All right. Copy. What was the Reconstruction Act? Paste. The Reconstruction Acts, or the Military Reconstruction Acts, were four statutes passed during the Reconstruction era by the 40th U.S. Congress addressing the requirement for Southern states to be readmitted into the Union. I'm just going to start, like, automatically putting in, like, whenever I look up something like this, I'm just going to automatically put it into the underbar here. And so, anybody watching the stream live, I'm not going to update it constantly, so just, you can check it out after the show anyway. Anyway, moving on up to 1882, whose turn was it?
I'll do this one.
Okay.
In 1882, Queen Victoria narrowly escapes an assassination attempt by Roderick McLean in Windsor.
Dang. Then we have 1877, somehow, it went back. Just 2 days before inauguration, the U.S. Congress declared Rutherford B. Hayes the winner of the 1876 U.S. presidential election, even though Samuel J. Tilden had won the popular vote. Well, that's not nice.
Yeah.
That's like corruption right there.
That's the same thing with Bush, even though Al Gore won the popular vote.
Yeah. Don't worry about 1882. You already read that one, so take on 1901.
I know that. In 1901, the United States Steel Corporation is founded as a result of a merger between Carnegie Steel Company and Federal Steel Company, which became the first corporation in the world with a market capital over $1 billion.
Dang. $1 billion is a lot of money in today's world. Could you imagine how much it would have been back then, over 100 years ago? That'd be like $1 trillion right now.
We're like gods right now. Pretty
Actually,
much.
hold on a second. 1 billion, 1901, is worth $33,076,235,294.12 today. Wow. So I was a little off with my trillion, just a little bit, but still, it's a lot of money. $33 billion. Also, in 1901, the U.S. Congress passed the Platt Amendment, which limited the autonomy of Cuba as a condition of the withdrawal of U.S. troops. So that has to be somewhere along the lines of the same thing as the Guantanamo Bay thing. Perpetual...
I think that's the Battle of San Juan. I'm not sure.
When was the Spanish-American War?
Yeah, because...
it lasts until 1898. Okay, so maybe that's part of it. Maybe like this is like the dwindling aftermath of the Spanish-American War.
Also, in 1903, in New York City, the Martha Washington Hotel opened, becoming the first hotel exclusively for women.
Now, see, feminists these days are always going on about, oh, women's rights, yada yada. Well, back in the day where women couldn't even vote, they had their own hotel. Shut up. You know, like, you know, there's...
Back in that time, they needed women's rights.
Yeah, they did. You know, but the fact that they got their own exclusive hotel, you know, that's good.
Yes, it is. It's a start.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not trying to segregate people. It's just, like, you know, the fact that you have your own thing, you know, like, be happy with what you got. You know, like, yeah, always seek more things, but don't bitch and moan about the bad things in your life. Appreciate the good things, you know? That's the whole point. You know, and just do what you can with what you have to make the world a better place without stepping on anybody else's toes. It's that easy. Jumping on up to 1917, the enactment of the Jones-Shafroth Act granted Puerto Ricans United States citizenship.
Nice.
Yeah. Which Puerto Rico is still, it's not a state, but it's a principality of the U.S. It's like basically a colony. It's our puppet, more or less.
Honestly, we should make them a state.
We should. We should make Puerto Rico a state.
Pretty much the Virgin Islands.
I'm not sure about the Virgin Islands, but what we should do is we should merge North and South Dakota because neither one of them are, any value. So just merge them both, and then we don't have to worry about changing the flag. We get a state, we lose a state, and then it just evens out.
Same thing with the Carolinas.
Carolinas, yes. West Virginia, you can still segregate those into Virginia and West Virginia, but the North and South that needs to stop. And then actually, you know what? Maybe if you merge the Carolinas and then you can cut California in half. I know I just said stop making two different states, but really, no Cal and SoCal. California is too big; it needs to be split.
Yeah, it's like Texas.
Yeah, Texas needs to be split. There's a lot of stuff that could be done to streamline the whole process. But anyway, jumping on up to the year 1919, why don't you tell us about that?
In 1919, the first Communist International meets in Moscow.
Communist International sounds like. Well, let me look it up. Also known as the Third International, was an international organization founded in 1919 that advocated world communism headed by the Soviet Union. Well, hopefully that didn't go too well. Jumping up to... Yeah, well, obviously it hasn't gone too well, but is it still going on? Oh yeah, they ceased operations on May 15th, 1943, so good. They got the memo, they ceased. Jumping on up to 1932, Finnish President P.E. Svinhufvud gave a radio speech, which 4 days later finally ended the Manistala Rebellion and the far-right Lapua movement that started it. Cool. Power of words, power of politics.
Yeah.
No need for violence.
Okay.
Sorry.
Also, in 1937, the Steelworkers Organizing Committee signs a collective bargaining agreement with U.S. Steel, leading to unionizing the United States steel industry.
Cool. 2 years later, in 1939, Cardinal Eugenio Pacelli was elected Pope and took the name Pius XII.
In 1941, in World War II, the first German military units enter Bulgaria after it joins the Axis Pact.
So Bulgaria joined the bad guys.
Yes.
2 years later... Sorry?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. Didn't Ireland or something also join the Nazis?
No, they were... actually, Ireland was neutral.
Then it was Scotland. Hold on. Scotland, well, who does Scotland side with the... Who does Scotland side in World War II? Because I remember there was something weird.
Excuse me.
Okay, well, I don't know. There is some random nation, I don't remember what it was, but joined the Axis powers, and it's really weird. Jumping on up to 1943, also during World War II, Allied aircraft defeated a Japanese attempt to ship troops to New Guinea.
Oh, damn. Forget it. Also in 1949, Captain James Gallagher lands his B-50 Super Fortress Lucky Lady 2 in Fort Worth, Texas, after completing the first non-stop around-the-world airplane flight in 94 hours and 1 minute.
Dude, if only he had been 60 seconds faster, he would have had a clean thing. But nope, 94 hours and 1 minute. Don't you just hate that little, on the gas pump or whatever? The OCD is real. Jumping on up to 1955, Norodom Sihanouk, king of Cambodia, abdicated the throne in favor of his father, Norodom Sihamuni.
Damn.
So,
Also, in 1962, Wilt Chamberlin sets the single game scoring record in the NBA by scoring 100 points.
nice.
This man was a beast, and also he was in Conan the Barbarian too.
Yeah, 100 points in one game. That's difficult.
Yeah, especially by a center.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a center, right? Yeah. Well, that's what you said earlier.
Yep.
Also in 1962, in Burma, the army led by General Ne Win seized power in a coup d'etat.
Damn. Also in 1965, the U.S. and Republic of Vietnam Air Force begins Operation Rolling Thunder, a sustained bombing campaign against North Vietnam.
And that song is playing in my head from Gears of War, like Rolling Thunder. It's a good song. I gotta play it after this. 3 years later, in 1968, Bagger Ridge Colliery closed, marking the end of over 300 years of coal mining in the Black Country. That sounds bad.
Yeah.
That sounds really bad. Black Country. So.
Also in 1969, in Toulouse, France, the first test flight of the Anglo-French Concorde is conducted.
Ooh. The Concorde is the first passenger airliner that broke the sound barrier. And it actually serviced like between 1982 and 2007, I think. I'm not sure.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm learning things. I'm remembering things. I'm learning more from doing my own show than I ever did in school. Ain't that a bitch? 1 year later, in 1970, Rhodesia declared itself a republic, breaking its last links with the British Crown. Nice. Go Rhodesia.
Cool. Yeah. Also, Also in 1972, the Pioneer 10 space probe is launched from Cape Canaveral, Florida, with a mission to explore the outer planets.
Nice.
Yep.
5 years later, 1977, Libya became the Socialist People's Libyan Arab Jamahiriya as the General People's Congress adopted the Declaration on the Establishment of the Authority of the People.
Nice. Also, 1978, Chef Vladimir Remek becomes the first non-Russian or non-American to go into space when he is launched aboard Soyuz 28.
Cool. It's really cool. That's a question I didn't even know I had. Like, who was the first non-U.S., Soviet, person in space?
Right.
That's intriguing.
Now you know.
Yeah. Also,
And no
1970.
one's half the battle.
What?
And no one's half the battle.
What's the other half?
Violence.
It's actually red lasers and blue lasers. That's the other half.
And no, it's 25. No one's half the battle. 25 of it's violence, and other 25 is yelling, "Go, Joe!"
Yes. Cobra! Also in 1978, the late iconic actor Charlie Chaplin's coffin was stolen from his grave in Switzerland. Who steals coffins? What the hell?
A crazy macabre fan. That's who.
Actually, right as I was saying that, I was thinking about Egyptologists stealing sarcophagi. It's just like, those people steal coffins.
Yeah.
They got a
British.
problem. What happened in 1983?
In 1983, compact disc and compact disc and players are released for the first time in the United States and other markets. They previously have been available only in Japan.
Yeah. Technology.
Sort of CDs, which unfortunately CDs are now obsolete.
Yep.
Even though I would rather a CD, because I like collecting them.
Well, it's not just that, but it's good to have a physical copy. Like, if something happens to Steam, all those games are gone forever. Like, And I bought a lot of those games. That's money that's I'm never going to get back. If I bought a physical copy, then that's on me if it's gone. You know, like
Here's me only. Here's me with only 2 games on Steam.
seriously.
I bought only about 2 games on Steam: Fallout New Vegas and Assassin's Creed Rogue.
Oh, I thought you said you only had 2 games on Steam. I'm like,
I only bought 2 games on Steam:
okay.
Assassin's Creed Rogue and Fallout New Vegas.
Jump on up to 1989. 12 European community nations agreed to ban the production of all chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs, by the end of the century. What the hell is a chlorofluorocarbon? What?
It's something that attacks the ozone layer.
Oh, yeah.
It's a spray that comes in an aerosol can.
Yeah. It says here, chlorofluorocarbons and hydrochlorofluorocarbons are fully or partially halogenated paraffin hydrocarbons that contain only carbon, hydrogen, chlorine, and fluorine produced as volatile derivatives of methane, ethane, and propane. They are also commonly known by the DuPont brand name Freon.
Yep.
Interesting. Jumping on up to 1990. Oh, go ahead.
Also in 1990, Nelson Mandela is elected deputy president of the African National Congress.
Nice.
Why does Nelson Mandela look like Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman fused?
Because he does. Maybe he is like their fusion. You know, what if every now and then Morgan Freeman and Denzel Washington do the Dragon Ball Z fusion,
Yeah, no wonder why you don't see. Now you think about it, you don't see Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman in the same room together. So they probably do that. They probably fuse in secrecy.
Well, now we have a theory. Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman. You gotta come clean. Are you really Nelson Mandela when you combine forces? We're on to you.
Well, not anymore, because Nelson Mandela passed away.
Or did he? Maybe they got tired of doing it, so they faked his death so they can pursue their own lives.
Ooh.
See,
oh my God.
Yeah, see, they're both still alive except for Nelson. You know?
Yeah, we need to stop smoking crack.
365 days later, in 1991, a battle at Rumalia oil field began at the end of the 1991 Gulf War.
Oh, damn. Also in 1992, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Moldova, San Marino, and Turkestan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan, all of which, except San Marino, were former Soviet republics, joined the United Nations.
Nice, dang. That's a lot.
I fucked up on Tajikistan and Turkmenistan. Wait, never mind. I got it right now.
And Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan and Kazakhstan. I think Kazakhstan is its own country as well. So
yeah, Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan.
There's too many Stan countries. I actually asked a former friend of mine, like, why are there so many Stan countries? And apparently, because like this friend used to be a linguist. Apparently, Stan is like Arabic or like some old language for like the house of or the house of Stan or the house of something. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, it's some kind of country naming tool device. Jumping on up to 1992, the war in Transnistria started.
Damn. Also in 1995, researchers at Fermilab announced the discovery of the top quark.
What is the top quark? That sounds, let's see here. The top quark, sometimes also referred to as the truth quark, is the most massive of all observed elementary particles. Interesting.
Damn.
Jumping on up to 1998, data sent from the Galileo spacecraft indicated that Jupiter's moon Europa has a liquid ocean under a thick crust of ice. And that's probably most likely where there's the closest life, in the great cosmos to us. So as far as geographically. So, pretty cool.
Also in 2002, during the U.S. invasion of Afghanistan, Operation Anaconda begins, which would see the deaths of 500 Taliban and Al-Qaeda fighters and 11 Western troop fatalities by the end of March 19th.
Operation Anaconda was a military operation that took place in early March 2002 as part of the war in Afghanistan. CIA paramilitary officers working with their allies attempted to destroy Al-Qaeda and Taliban forces. The operation took place in the Shahikot Valley and Arma Mountains southeast of Zormat.
Yep.
Jumping on up to 2004, during the war in Iraq, Al-Qaeda carried out the Ashur massacre in Iraq, killing 170 people and wounding an additional 500. Yeah. Moving on up to 2012, a tornado outbreak occurred over a large section of the southern United States and into the Ohio Valley region, resulting in 40 tornado-related fatalities. It's not good. I remember that tornado outbreak. So, you still there, Sohan?
Oh, yes. Also, 2017, the elements Moscovidium, Tennessine, and Organism was officially added to the periodic table at the conference in Moscow, Russia.
Nice. Yeah, we were talking about this earlier with Alice, who unfortunately is no longer part of the show. She had to go and pursue her own stuff. So, anyway, but yeah, the periodic table is ever expanding, and I never thought about it, but it makes sense. And now with today's technology and everything, we're synthesizing many elements. So, I don't know, maybe like in another 100 years, most elements will be synthetic rather than natural. You know, with natural elements being, the constructs. Any articles intrigue you today?
Wilt Chamberlin, really.
Yeah, I'm gonna say up to the compact disc thing was interesting. Oh, the Vladimir Remek as well, like the first non-US or non-SSR person in space. It's pretty cool. Jumping on the burst, we have the year 480, Benedict of Nursia. He was an Italian Christian saint.
Yep. In 1545, we have Thomas Bodley, English diplomat and scholar who founded the Bodleian Library.
Nice. 1705, we have William Murray, first Earl of Mansfield, a Scottish lawyer, judge, and politician who was a chancellor of the Exchequer. Murray. Why is that familiar?
In 1740, we have Nicholas Pocock, English naval painter.
What a last name, Pocock.
Yeah.
1769, we have DeWitt Clinton, a U.S. lawyer and politician who is the 6th governor of New York. I'm wondering if he was related to Hillary. DeWitt Clinton. Because the Clintons, DeWitt Clinton.
Yeah. Oh. Well, why you do that? In 1793, we have Sam Houston, American soldier and politician who was the first president of the Republic of Texas.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that interesting that the same date, like not year, but the date of Sam Houston's birth was also the founding of the Republic of Texas? There we go. Like that's another interesting one. We forgot to talk about that one. The Republic of Texas. Remember? It started today. 1860, we have Susanna M. Salter, a U.S. activist and politician. Yeah, that sounds like the occupation of someone with that last name. Why does she have to be so salty?
Damn. Also, in 1904, we have Dr. Seuss, U.S. children's book writer, poet, and illustrator.
I don't like ham, Sam. I am. I don't want your green eggs and ham. I will not eat it on a plane. I will not eat it on a train. I will not eat it in a hurricane. 1922, we have Bill Quackenbush, a Canadian-U.S. ice hockey player and coach. Quackenbush.
Ooh.
A bird in the hand is worth more than two in the bush. Quackenbush.
Yeah. Also, in 1931, we have Mikhail Gorbachev, Russian lawyer and politician who was the first president of Soviet Russia.
Yeah, the Soviet Union.
Soviet Union.
Yeah. No, Gorbachev, remember? Tear down this wall. Reagan smash. Reagan smash. Yeah. That's who was president of Russia during Reagan's time.
Cool.
In 1955, we have Jay Osmond, a U.S. singer, drummer, actor, and TV/film producer.
Is he related to the Osmonds?
Let me check. Jay Osmond. He's a member of the Osmond family of performers, yes. Yeah, siblings are Merrill Osmond, Wayne Osmond, and Verrill Osmond, and there's more.
Yeah, one of them being Donny Osmond.
Let's see here. Let's click the more. Yep, Donny Osmond. We have Merrill Osmond, Wayne Osmond, Verrill Osmond, Jimmy Osmond, Donny Osmond, Mary Osmond, Alan Osmond, Tom Osmond. Wow, that's a lot of siblings. That's just Jay Osmond's. Like, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 children. Could you? Jesus. Why?
Yeah. Also in 1962, we have John Bon Jovi, U.S. singer-songwriter, guitarist, producer, and actor, and a person who gave love a bad name.
Shot through the heart, but you're too late. You give love a bad name. 1968, we have Daniel Craig, an English actor and producer.
No, you should have said it like this. Craig. Daniel Craig.
Yes. James Bond.
He is the last Bond so far. Also in 1971, we have Method Man, U.S. rapper, record producer, and actor who played in so much films as How High, and also is a member of Wu-Tang Clan, who ain't nothing to fuck with.
Yep. And last but not least, in 2010, Haley Dawson, a U.S. citizen with a 3D printed robotic hand.
Yeah, I saw it. It's awesome.
Science, dude. The future is today.
Yeah. I see people 3D printing fingers for their hands,
Yeah.
amputees.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't remember what it was, but, like, there was a time several years ago where, like, something was going on that like, because, like, somebody was telling me things that were actually happening, not theoretics, but actually stuff that's going on in today's world, and I literally, like, I was just like, future! From, SpongeBob, when Squidward was having a crisis.
But yeah, I see some of those people using their 3D printed fingers and they're lifting up kettleballs.
Nice.
Like 10 to 15 pound kettleballs to see how durable, they are. Which is kind of neat.
Yeah, it is. In about 10 years, maybe we can make somebody into Darth Vader. All we need is a lightsaber.
Actually, we have that. We have the technology now. Respirators, portable respirators.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like robotics, not just the respirators. Because remember, like, his arms and legs were cut off, like at the elbow and knees. So like most of his limbs or all of his limbs are, robotics. So I'm wondering, like, 10 years, like, are we gonna see a world where we have broken the veil between man and machine and merged the two into one?
Eventually, it will happen.
Yeah.
But not until a couple of centuries.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like,
a century.
A century? You mean 100 years?
Well, either a century or 50 years, or half a century.
A century is 100. Like, a decade is 10 years. A century is 100, and a millennia is 1,000.
I know.
Yeah.
I was just trying to say either between half a century or a full century, it will happen.
It won't be a century, like half a century at most, maybe. Because remember, Elon Musk is working on that Neuralink thing right now, and you know, I don't know. Only time will tell. We can only sit and watch. So, anyway, let's get into deaths here. Why don't you start us off?
And in 274, we have Mani, Persian prophet and founder of the Manichaeism.
What is Manichaeism? Manichaeism was a major religion founded in the 3rd century AD by the Parthian prophet Mani in the Sasanian Empire. Manichaeism taught an elaborate dualistic cosmology describing the struggle between a good spiritual world of light and an evil material world of darkness. Huh. Well, I'm going to have to research into this myself. As an omnist, every theology intrigues me. So, jumping on up to 1939, we had Howard Carter, died today. He was an English archaeologist and historian who discovered King Tut's tomb. And a lot of people, like Howard Carter and all the people that were with him, that went in the tomb, died, within months, after, collectively. And that's what gave rise to, thinking that there was a curse, Yeah.
Yeah. Also, in 1944, we have Ida McLean, British biochemist and the first woman admitted to the London Chemical Society.
Nice. 1962, we have Charles-Jean de la Vallée Poussin, a Belgian mathematician and academic.
Also, 2010, we have Winston Churchill, English journalist and politician, and all-around bamf.
I don't think that's the same Winston Churchill.
I don't know.
You really think he would have been alive in 2010?
Maybe.
Well, alright. Anyway, that concludes the show. Once again, check the underbar for any links you may be interested in, also including in
Sohin TV on Twitch.
Yes. For your dose of Past Events Daily, we stream every day, mostly at around noon, give or take, Pacific time. And don't forget to look right and left at every intersection. Rate 5 thumbs. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just gonna say until tomorrow. You'll see us then. Toodles.